G'day YouTube. Back again, I am back again just to do a quick little update for the months of April, May and early June. Early June 2025. Definitely more DVDs this time. A bit of low on cash, so I've just been sticking to DVDs, but you know, do have a few Blu-rays and 2 4Ks. But anyway, let's get this going. First up, we've got Boogeyman, the Killer compilation. This is essentially just like it's from the 2000s. It's essentially what it says. It's a compilation of kills from various horror films from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and 70s as well. And before the kills are shown, it basically shows you like a little write-up about the killer and information about the killer and shit like that. I really only got this for nostalgia purposes. I did enjoy it. I got this because I used to watch these clips when I was a fucking kid, and didn't realise I used to watch these clips when I was a kid. I didn't realise it was part of this, but apparently it is. So yeah, fun enough. Next up, we've got Alice, which is also known as Alice Kills. This is basically a psychological horror film about this woman named Alice who is kind of weird, and she kind of skates through life. She's comforting a friend who's just found out her boyfriend is cheating on her. They get drunk. They go to the roof of Alice's apartment building, and they essentially, what essentially happens is Alice, in attempting to play a prank on her friend, she accidentally pushes her off the edge of her building's roof, and she covers it up, pretends she wasn't up there. And this is basically about the effect that the guilt of unintentionally killing her friend has on her. And she just essentially goes crazy and starts killing people. It's a horror movie. What did you expect? But yeah, Alice is pretty good. The gore's pretty good. Don't really have much to complain about this. Not that there is much to complain about, but yeah. Always thought it was British, but it's actually American. Yeah, it's not too bad. I definitely enjoyed it. Alice. Next up, we've got the Mario Bava collection, A Bay of Blood. I love Lamberto Bava, and I've heard Mario Bava is just as great as Lamberto Bava. The guy's basically responsible for a bunch of trends in Italian horror cinema in the 60s and 70s. But anyway, basically this guy is murdered. This old man is murdered, and different people who stand a chance of inheriting this guy's wealth come to this guy's house, the old man's house, to sort of find out who's getting what, and people just end up fucking being killed. I know famously one of the kills from this film is copied shot for shot in Friday the 13th Part 2. I have yet to watch it though, because it's a region fucking 2, and I need a multi-region player. I need to get that fucker. But A Bay of Blood, I know what it's basically about. I know it's good, so. Next up, we've got Bedeviled, which is South Korean revenge horror film. Basically, why do I keep saying basically? It's about this woman who's very apathetic to people and life, and she melts down at fucking work after an incident in her personal life, and her boss tells her to go on a fucking holiday. So she decides to go on holiday to this small island that she used to holiday on when she was a child, spurred on by, I think her name's Bok Nam. Yeah, Bok Nam. A friend from her childhood who just constantly hounds her. When she gets to the island, she finds that Bok Nam is essentially treated like a fucking slave by her husband. She's treated like shit by her husband, who's molesting their fucking daughter. He's beating the shit out of her. The old women on the island think of her like a fucking dog, and they treat her like shit. And to top that all off, her brother-in-law is a pervy piece of shit who rapes her. And basically, the revenge part is something happens and Bok Nam finally snaps and she starts killing people. And the movie sort of, obviously it's about apathy. It's about people being in horrible situations, people seeing others in horrible situations and refusing to do anything regardless of whether or not they can. So, yeah. Bedeviled, it's really fucking good. It's fucking amazing if you can check it out. Yeah. South Korean films are amazing. Next up, we've got The Black Dahlia, which is about the Black Dahlia murder, as it says, based on a novel. It's not really horror. It's more of sort of like a crime noir. It's got Josh Hartnett, Scarlett Johansson, fucking Hilary Swank and Aaron Eckhart. It's basically about this sort of hotshot cop who comes across the Black Dahlia murder, Elizabeth Short, an actress who was murdered in the late 40s. And it's basically just about him trying to unravel the mystery. I wouldn't really class it as horror, but I think it's horror adjacent enough, being that the content in certain parts is very fucking horrific, that I do put it in my horror collection, but it's not really a horror movie. Josh Hartnett and Aaron Eckhart are amazing. Everybody in that fucking movie is amazing. Next up, we've got Snoop Dogg. Bones, starring Snoop Dogg. What is this? Basically, it's a movie about a bunch of, I guess, teenagers or college graduates, it's never really explained, who buy this old dilapidated building in the middle of the fucking ghetto to turn it into a nightclub. What they don't realise is the building is the burial site of Jimmy Bones, a local street legend who was murdered there and then buried underneath. And going in there, they unintentionally wake up Jimmy Bones. So yeah, it's got Snoop Dogg, fucking Pam Grier, Catherine Elizabeth. That's it. That's how you fucking say her name. Yeah, Catherine Elizabeth. Yeah. Again, fun shit. Most of the shit that I buy, I like. Like if I'm keeping it and you're seeing it in a video, I like it. Next up, Boo. This is a fucking fun but horrible film. It's basically like one of those old sci-fi exclusive horror movies. You remember those? About this group of friends who decide on Halloween to go partying in this abandoned mental asylum. And they get trapped on the 3rd floor of the mental asylum and begin being haunted by the ghosts who live in the asylum. It's fucking bad. It's got Dee Wallace in it, and she's like the first fucking name that comes up, Dee Wallace Stone. She's in it for like 5 fucking minutes, if that. But it's bad. And like, there's a gun in the movie that you can clearly see is a fucking cap gun. But, nobody points out that it's a cap gun. So yeah, boo. Fun shit. Again, more fun shit. Borderland. This was a really good fucking sort of cult horror film. Basically about this group of friends that go on holiday to Mexico. While they're high, one of their friends disappears, and they find out that their friend has been kidnapped by this drug cartel come cult that sacrifices people to Aztec gods so that it can cover up, so they can basically cloak the drugs they're smuggling across the border to cloak the drugs they're smuggling across the border to the authorities. But yeah, again, fun shit. Borderland is great. Very fun. It's part of that 8 Films to Die For series that came out early to late 2000s. They just never came out in Australia. They usually just came out under different titles. I think the last series of 8 Films to Die For was like called After Dark Originals, and then then they started releasing them as After Dark Originals. Pardon me. Next up, we've got Ruggero Deodato's Cannibal Holocaust. I don't need to tell you about this fucking movie. You know about this fucking movie. You know how controversial it is. I do have another copy of this on 4K. I specifically got this because this is uncut. And it's got a bunch of other features that weren't on the 4K. But yeah, I have it because it's uncut. I do like Cannibal Holocaust. So yeah. The Crazies, I don't know who directed it. Starring Timothy Olyphant and Radha Mitchell. Basically, this military plane goes down and crashes in this town's water supply. And whatever was in the fucking plane starts leaking into the town's water supply. And it turns the townspeople not into zombies, but zombie-like people who are like just overly aggressive. Sort of like the rage virus from the 28 Days Later series. Sort of like that, but not really the same thing. But yeah, Timothy Olyphant's good, so's Radha Mitchell. Again, good shit. I've never seen the original by George A. Romero. I've never seen it, so I probably should someday. Anyway, that's The Crazies. Good shit. Dawn of the Dead. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. The original. Fucking amazing. This is one of those cuts that has like... This is one of those international cuts of the film that has like sort of stock music interlaced with the Goblin score. So it's like really fucking weird. The Goblin score is amazing, but the stock music is pretty fucking terrible. Yeah, it's fucking Dawn of the Dead. It's amazing. What do you want me to say? It's not one of the best horror films ever made, because I'm not going to say that. George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. To me, just as good as Dawn. I probably like it more than Dawn, even though Dawn is also a classic. I probably like Day more than Dawn. What do I have to fucking say about it? It's Day of the Dead. You probably know what Day of the Dead is. Next up, we've got The Frozen Ground, starring Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, and Vanessa Hudgens. This is a serial killer movie about the hunt for Robert Hansen, who was an Alaskan serial killer, nicknamed the Butcher Baker, who killed like 16 prostitutes, and he would hunt them. Good shit. Nicolas Cage plays the cop hunting down the serial killer, played by John Cusack. John Cusack is surprisingly good as a serial killer. Who would have thought it? Who would have thunk it? But yeah, not really a horror film, but again, I say horror adjacent, so I put it in the horror collection. In Sanitarium, Peter Stormare and Jesse Metcalfe. This movie is fucking horrible, but amazing. Horrible but amazing. There's a couple here that are horrible and amazing. It's this guy fucking gets himself involuntarily put into a psych ward so that he can rescue his sister, who is stuck in said psych ward. And while he's trying to do that, he realizes the doctor who runs the psych ward is experimenting on the patients, and the way he's experimenting is turning them into rage-filled cannibals. So it's a zombie movie. It's a zombie movie, but a fun zombie movie. Next up, we've got Julia, starring Ashley C. Williams from fucking The Human Centipede, one of the chicks, one of the main chicks from The Human Centipede. This is fucking amazing. Basically, it's about this woman named Julia who gets raped. She never goes to the police, but she needs to find a way to deal with it. She comes across this woman who says she can help her deal with her trauma. And the woman points her to this doctor. Well, the doctor is basically helping these women deal with their trauma by having them kill rapists. Like, remove their fucking dick and balls and shit like that. But yeah, Julia is really fucking good. If you can see it, if you can watch it, watch it. It's fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Let Us Pray, another great one. Jesus Christ. Basically, a bunch of people with fucking secrets end up in a police station, and a mysterious man who's coming to this small town ends up at the police station, and a bunch of crazy shit starts happening. That's all I'll say. It's got Pollyanna McIntosh from The Woman. You know, the woman. She plays the woman in The Woman. The feral woman in The Woman. And she's great in this as well. Let Us Pray. Fucking watch it again. Next up, we've got Madison County. Again, pretty terrible run-of-the-mill late 2000s slasher movie, but again, a fun, fun run-of-the-mill late 2000s slasher movie. Even if the slasher movie is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen, generally I can sit through it, and generally I will fucking enjoy it. Medium Raw, Night of the Wolf. I have not fucking watched it. Oh my god. This is the first time I haven't watched. This is the first time I've watched a good fucking majority of the shit that's in my stacks, which is good. Open Grave, starring Sharlto Copley. This is a fucking amazing apocalyptic fucking horror film. Basically, it's about this guy who wakes up in the middle of this open mass grave. Somebody helps him out of the fucking mass grave, and he ends up basically bumping into a bunch of people. He doesn't know who he is. The people don't know who they are. Basically, the mystery unravels further throughout the film, and yeah. It's fucking amazing. Sharlto Copley is amazing. He's always amazing, so yeah. Check it out. Open Graves, Mike Vogel and Elijah Dushku. What am I? I'm going to say it's horrible, but it's good. It is fucking good. It's amazing. It's so fucking bad. It's about this group of friends. They come into possession of this strange board game, and they play the board game, and as they're playing the board game, the characters in their characters in the game end up dying. After the game is finished, later on throughout the week, they start dying in the same way that their characters from the board game die. So it's basically like a more recent one, Tarot. It's like Tarot, but actually enjoyable and not a complete piece of shit, which is weird. P2, A New Level of Terror, which stars Wes Bentley. It's directed by Frank Califon, who, this is fucking amazing. Of course it's amazing. It's directed by the guy who directed the Maniac remake. This is basically about this chick who is basically working late. She comes out to a deserted parking lot. It's the middle of fucking Christmas, so she can't get onto anybody. She tries to get the security guard to help her come out. Security guard knocks her out. Basically, it's a game of cat and mouse between her and this psychotic security guard who believes that she's the love of his life. Very fucking good. Wes Bentley is fucking terrifying in that movie. Sisters. Haven't seen it. I know it's a remake of a Brian De Palma film. I do have to watch it though. So, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake with Jessica Biel. You will not fucking believe this. The day after I bought this, the day after I paid for this, it was only $6. I'm not out of fucking pocket anything. The day after I fucking bought this, it was announced 4K of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is coming out. Just my fucking luck. Just my fucking luck, eh? The Toolbox Murders remake, directed by Tobe Hooper. It's basically this woman moves into this old dilapidated building with her husband or her boyfriend. I can't remember specifically whether or not they're husband and wife or boyfriend. No, they're husband and wife. And she meets this strange new woman. The strange woman fucking disappears, and no one will believe her that she's disappeared. And yeah, it's basically, it's a slasher movie. This is a fucking bootleg. I didn't pay anything for it. I think I've talked before about the guy I swapped with. This is a bootleg. It's a nice, good enough bootleg, but I still want to get an actual DVD, so I'll keep that for the time. 12. Basically, it's about this guy who is sent to prison. He comes back out, trying to get revenge on the 12 jurors that sent him to fucking prison. It's a pretty fucking nasty little slasher film. Fun shit. There is a pretty gnarly fucking face pull, as in like him pulling off a face that's pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, 12 again. Check it out. The Willard remake. starring Crispin Glover. Basically, this dude who's treated like shit at work, and doesn't seem to have any friends. His only real friend is his mother, and she's overbearing, and he's looking after her. He becomes friends with this rat that he finds in the basement. And he finds that he can teach the rat to do shit. So, basically, something happens, and he gets revenge by sending the rats to kill people. But, good shit. Crispin Glover plays the weirdo that he really is. I do love Crispin Glover, but he is a fucking weirdo. And Arliomi is in it, and also fucking amazing. Arliomi's always amazing. What are you talking about? Onto the Blu-rays, The Collector, which is directed by and written by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, who are basically the writers behind the later Saw sequels, so the more gory Saw sequels. This thief breaks into a house he's been casing to steal an item so he can get enough money to pay off his wife's gambling debt. While he's breaking into the house, he realizes that the family that is supposed to be away on holiday has been taken captive by a local serial killer named the Collector. Named that because he collects a single person from each place he kills people at. Fucking gnarly shit. Definitely fucking gnarly shit. But fun shit again. Classic. I fucking love that movie. Heart Eyes. Written by Christopher Landon, who writes all those horror movies for Blumhouse that are basically, what if so-and-so was a horror film? So like Happy Death Day, which is if Groundhog Day was a horror film, was a slasher film. And Freaky, which is if Freaky Friday was a slasher film, where instead of a girl switching bodies with her mother, she switches bodies with a serial killer that tries to kill her. And like, It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a slasher. It's a Wonderful Life. So again, this is what if slasher films, but romantic comedy as well. Fun shit. I did love that in the theatre. Lots of CGI gore, but decent enough CGI gore that I can excuse it. Upgrade. This is an upgrade of Upgrade. One of my favourite Leigh Whannell films. Just watch Upgrade. Next up, we've got Companion with Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid. Basically, I don't want to say anything. Just watch it. Just watch it. And finally, My Bloody Valentine. What do I have to say? Most people have probably fucking seen this. I had that old piece of shit DVD that was in French, but I got rid of it. And now I've got a 4K of it, so I'm very fucking happy. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you did, like if you liked it. Subscribe, maybe, if you like this video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.